Body Waves is a 1992 sex comedy directed by P.J. Pesci and starring Bill Calvert, Leigh Lale, Jim Wise, Mark Grapey, John Crane, Michael McDonald, Andy Buckley, Larry Linville, and Dick Miller. This is a poor man's James Bond credit sequence. The film opens in an office. I bet this is all a dream. Oh, where did the sound go? Just an FYI, there's going to be a lot of silence in this movie because I don't think they licensed much of the music. Dick Miller!
It's the opinion of this court that the appropriate punishment is to cut it off.
Jesus! Rick's mom and dad are going on vacation, and they've decided to put him in charge while they're away. He's the rectal cream king! Rick says fuck that shit, leading to an argument and a challenge to make $3,000 while they're out of town to prove that he's not a useless piece of shit. So he's not going to work for the Butthole Cream Company? Gilligan? Rick stops at the restaurant to enlist Dooner in his scheme, whatever that is, and to get some sweet seed money. So they pawn Dooner's granddad's ashes. Their scheme is to sell suntan lotion on the beach, and their business is not going to look like that. That's more like it. Here's a silent Dooner dream sequence about his gramps. Rick spots his dream girl as Frank Burns bitches about a local radio station.
Numerical value. Divide them by 666. Factor that by 98.15, the radio frequency. You get Nortest, which is almost Satan spelled backwards.
What?
No, why don't you shut the HEML up?
Oh, you all right? You gonna make me? Hey, shut it up, you guys.
No one's
talking about your dick size.
These nerds are really over-nerding it. Rick and Dooner bullshit the nerds, and they end up selling a case of their bullshit sunscreen. Nearby, Rick's dream girl's getting harassed by David Wallace!
You know, you've got some nerve asking me out after what your demented Nazi father's trying to do to my mother's radio station.
Then I guess a blowjob is out of the question.
Oh, yeah.
That's forward. Rick interjects, but turns out his help isn't needed. Her name is Stacy, and her mom owns the radio station that Himmel's protesting, and the blowjob request guy is Himmel's son, so it's all a small fucking world after all. Rick asks her out on a date, and they agree to meet at a party later that night. The nerds show back up and ask for tips on picking up girls, agreeing to pay Rick if they can get laid. That night, Rick checks out their moves.
Hello, my name is Joseph, Joe, and I see you're playing a game of pool here. So, do you want to know me?
At least he's to the point.
Say there, dollface. Tell me, what's a man with a 12-inch dick have for breakfast?
That was rough.
Do you think you'd consider having a conversation with me?
Sure. You're Steve? Hi, I'm Suzanne. Nice to meet you.
I'm just sitting here waiting for the car wreck to happen.
Why don't we cut the bullshit? How'd you like to take a long walk on the beach and make love in the sand like crazed animals?
Really?
Not!
There it is. The question is, does that count as close?
And, well, I got a question for you. I hope you got the right answer, okay? Let's listen up. Mahatma, are you ready to party?
No one cares.
Let's try that one more time. Mahatma, are you ready to party?
Shut up. We all hate you.
See? And Stacy happens to be the star of the show. Nope, no music. Let's move on.
Wow, that was really good. How did you learn how to do that?
Well, shit, I'm glad you got to hear it. There's some exposition about the radio station. We have our save the business plot point. Then they suck a little face.
Which concludes our discussion on the female's erogenous zones. Any questions?
Yes. How can I have a multiple orgasm?
Buy multiple penthouses.
Do we actually need this plot point in the movie?
Guys. No, come on, guys. Come on, break it up.
Wedgie.
Sayonara, my PlayStation. Oh, the table!
The fuck? I thought nerds were supposed to be smart. These guys are idiots. Here's a montage with no music, followed by a smorgasbord of condoms. Then some more hijinks, including radio station play without sound.
Nowadays, people in our peer group have it easy. Everything is given to them. So they have to affect some sort of romantic tragedy, a pose to give them a little life. I mean, you gotta be cool. Gentlemen, I give you the pool table.
They're not going to look cool. Actually, that cue ball is probably going to hit some innocent patron in the head. There it is. Hey gang, here's a new subplot of Himmel wanting to buy the pawned urn of the Dooner clan. The nerds get hooked up with triplets and now it's time to go to the drive-in. But they blew it and bring inflatable sex dolls instead. Once again, the movie they're watching looks a hell of a lot better than the movie they're in. Assholes in a Jeep alert. And they're busted out. At this point, Rick is desperate, so he whips up a combination of suntan lotion and ass cream called body goo to make these guys sexual gods. It's a bunch of bullshit, but it works! Meanwhile, at the club, there's no fucking sound.
I got a surprise for you. Let's go somewhere where it's private.
It's probably his penis. The nerds get accosted in the bathroom, spilling the info about body goo. I guess they got it on. Then everything falls to shit.
It's not a sex drug, stupid. It's just pheromones. Rick was teaching us how to pick up women.
What?
It's not really pheromones. It's just Rick's dad's butt cream.
And the night ends with Stacy telling Rick to fuck off. Himmel then calls out Rick along with the station and buys Grandpa's ashes. They feel sorry for themselves and it suddenly becomes out of context montage, the movie.
Well, look who's here if it isn't the Tin Man, the Scarecrow, and the Cowardly Lion.
Oh, because you're your girlfriend.
It cost you your grandfather.
Yo, what? Fuck these snitches!
Come on, don't get mad. There was only some way we could, 1, all get laid, 2, make a lot of money, and 3, save your girlfriend, your ex-girlfriend's radio station.
Hey, well, if you're so serious about helping out, why don't you fork over some cash?
Nope, they're out of money, but they bought this thing.
Clarissa! Ta-da! This is your big deal mega computer? What a piece of junk. It looks like something from an old Disney movie.
What Disney movie's this? They shove a plastic Yoda in the machine and it tells them, you guys need to start rapping. But we will never hear any of their songs because whatever.
That was perhaps the stupidest collection of sentences I've ever heard.
This script? Stacy agrees to let them record and the Goo Boys are born. And they're a hit! They go to a party where their neighbor is Himmel, who is in a pool doing a shit ton of blow.
I mean, it's just not fair you sitting there with your skirt halfway up your legs. I might do something I have no control over.
He learned it from watching him! There's a tussle for the urn and Himmel gets busted, saving the station. Hooray!
Rick? Hey, Rick.
How did his parents know he was there?
Yo, 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 we'd like to dedicate this next song to our homeboy, Ricky Rick.
What's the fucking point? We won't be able to hear it. I could give Body Waves the benefit of the doubt and say it's probably a better film with the music and the editing put back in to give you its original vision. But I don't think it would matter, because the movie's a piece of shit. It's one of the last sputtering gasps of the 1980s sex comedy, lumbering around like a zombie in 1992. It's a messy film with tacked on subplots, pretty much just to hit that sweet 80-minute time slot. Even at that short running time, it's still a chore to get through, with the only winners being Larry Linville and Dick Miller. Both those guys got a nice paycheck and only had to be on the set 2 days tops. Bravo, gentlemen.
Woo-wee. Armando was right. That shit is great.